Hello everyone, I'm Mike DeAngelo with That's Entertainment, and this is your video review of Killzone 2 by Guerilla Games. First-person shooters have long been one of the top genres among gamers, their success established many years ago on the PC. Over the course of time, they've become more numerous on home consoles. While modern wargame simulations have helped to bring the iconic genre some more steam, they aren't the only style that we've seen. Drastically popular are the futuristic first-person shooters such as Halo and Gears of War. Sony has its own answer to Microsoft's two epic series, with the Guerilla Games developed Killzone series. Whereas Halo pitted Spartans against the Covenant, and Gears of War pitted the Cogs against the Locust, Killzone has a more realistic feel. The ISA takes their fight against the Helghast, mutated and disfigured humans that still strike you with the sensation of taking down another person, and not some strange alien. With Killzone 3 on the way early next year, this could be the perfect chance to look at its immediate predecessor.
Hopefully it'll give us a lead on the Arc Towers. Seized by force, what they cannot claim by right.
The first Killzone required players to fend off the invasion of an allied planet called Vecta. The Helghast military attacked in force and attempted to chip away at the ISA defenders. They were unsuccessful, and Vecta was liberated. 2 years later, the Helghast continue to grow in power, and their hatred of humanity grows with it. The best way to stop the events of the past from recurring is to remove all chances of that future. The ISA organizes a counter-invasion, looking to overtake the capital city of Helghan and capture their leader, Visari. The invasion does not go off without a hitch. The Helghast are adept at defending their turf and harnessing the planet's power to decimate whatever opposition might come their way. The ISA suffers huge, debilitating losses from the onset, and the campaign keeps rising with tension, delivering a powerful narrative. The characters and some of the plot do feel a little weaker than desired, but it isn't terrible by any stretch. If you're familiar with first-person shooters, not too much has changed here. There's a sense of ease which brings you into the fold, but the controls are at a higher curve than many other games. Once you get over that, most of the rest of the game falls into place nicely. Killzone 2 utilizes a cover system that is less akin to games like Uncharted and Gears of War, and more like the games that you'd find in an arcade. The layout of the battlefield is clever and requires you to use your brain more often than not to keep yourself and your squad alive. Several times throughout the game, you're able to utilize vehicles or mounted guns, but for the most part you'll be swapping weapons on the fly and using them to blast away at the Helghast, who keep coming at you like a swarm of rats. One of my biggest complaints for Killzone 2 is the unnecessary implementation of the 6-axis controls. There wasn't any real need to include the spotty motion control for many of the things in the game. I will admit though, it was interesting to see it done for the sniper rifle, which affects the accuracy of your shots. With some more refinement, it would have been much less distracting. Considering the harsh conditions of Helghast, you'd think that you'd end up with completely grayscale, uninspired visuals. The game is presented with fluid, crisp graphics throughout. Despite the environment, everything catches your eye and helps you experience the world the way the ISA does. The music isn't the catchiest, but it does help to drive the story, and it does change the mood that you play in. You'll notice the changes and know to be prepared for the fight of your life. The sound, meanwhile, is your generic fare for the genre. You won't be impressed, but you likely won't be let down either. The vocals are done relatively well. Your character, Sev, isn't a silent protagonist throughout, but he, as well as the rest of the cast, has to make do with some forgettable dialogue. While the campaign is strong enough to make a good game on its own, the draw of Killzone 2 is clearly the multiplayer component. Again, while nothing is really breaking ground, it is still immensely entertaining. Players enter the war zone as one of 7 classes, each with their own talents that they bring to the battlefield. Swapping things out becomes necessary over time to really win out over the opposing team. Unfortunately, the single-player feel of the game doesn't carry over to the multiplayer, due to the lack of cover mechanics, but it doesn't detract too badly. The only other minor complaint is that ranking up doesn't feel like it does much to reward your efforts. Still, it remains hopelessly addictive. While Halo may remain the most popular of the sci-fi first-person shooters, it most definitely has competition, and it is not alone. Killzone 2 shows that the potential is there for an icon to be overtaken, and in just a few months, with the release of Killzone 3, we may see an interesting battle begin to play out. If the second game in this series was just another warm-up, Guerilla Games clearly has my attention for its next release. That's Entertainment awards Killzone 2 a score of 8.5 out of 10.
So I'm looking to you and Seb to get it done.
You know